Lems Shoes and FeelGrounds are two minimalist footwear brand favorites throughout the world. Both seem to be on the same mission, making healthy footwear that actually looks good. In our opinion, both are succeeding in that endeavor, making it a tough choice which brand to go with. So come along and find out which one will best fit your situation as we set the Lems Boulder Boot Grip and the FeelGrounds Patrol Winter to go toe to toe. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sons of Sever YouTube channel, where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. My name is Eric, and today my brother Chris and I are bringing you another video from our series of toe-to-toe comparisons. Today we're talking about the Lems Boulder Boot Grip and pitting it against the FeelGrounds Patrol Winter. As always, there are timestamps down in the description if you want to skip ahead and go see a certain aspect of these shoes being compared. Feel free to do that, but Chris and I are going to go back and forth talking about different aspects of these shoes, and at the end of it we're going to let you know which one is our winner, and hopefully through all of this help you to decide which one is best for your situation. So let's get started. I'll send it over to Chris.
I'm going to kick things off by talking about price, and the price difference between these, in my opinion, isn't very substantial. It's only $26, but marketing shows that when you're looking at numbers, obviously the lower one is going to appeal to you. That lower number being $159 for the Patrol Winter from FeelGrounds. And as far as the quality boots go that we've worked with, when it comes to price point, this is on the lower end of the scale. Going to the Boulder Grip from Lems, this guy is $185. And I think based on the construction, the performance, and the quality of the materials, that is somewhat warranted, but that pushes it more towards the more expensive side of the spectrum when it comes to boots that we've reviewed so far. Keeping in perspective, the most expensive boot we've worked with is $250, and the least expensive is somewhere between $80 and $100, which you haven't seen yet on the channel, but you will. Little teaser for things that are coming up. We are going to get into some budget options for you out there, but yeah, $185, which from what I see is fairly on par with some of the other bigger hiking brands out there when it comes to boots.
First comparison that I'm going to make is the weight of the boots. The Boulder Boot Grip is 14.1 ounces, while the Patrol Winter is 14.7 ounces, so there's basically no difference there. These are both extremely light boots.
The next thing I'm going to touch on is stack heights. I'm going to start with the more minimal one, and it's an interesting conversation because even though the Patrol Winter is only 10 millimeters, 13 if you are using the insole, it's still so insulated that you don't lose heat through the minimal sole of the boot. That's an issue with a lot of Barefoot winter boots, is that they tend to be too thin to keep your feet warm. The insulation in this thing is almost too good, and it has no issues when it comes to losing heat. That 10 millimeter or 13 millimeter stack height allows it to be very flexible and gives you a lot of ground feel, but it does hold it back when it comes to ruggedness. Talking about the Boulder Grip, we kind of have what we think is the Goldilocks zone for stack heights when it comes to Barefoot style boots. We really like anything between 13 and 18 millimeters. This is pressing the outer edge of that with the insole in it. So we have 13 millimeters on the stack height with the insole out. With the insole in, we have 18.5. So it's a 5.5 millimeter insole. I would recommend taking that out. I did, and I've played with a couple different insoles from other companies, seeing which one fit better, even some of the other Lems options that are more 3.5 millimeters. 5.5 is just very thick. I actually like taking the FeelGrounds Patrol insole out, which is an insulated insole, and putting that in here. So that's only 3 millimeters added, 16 millimeters overall, which is very much the Goldilocks stack height for me and my feet when it comes to hard, long, technical rock hopping, river crossing kinds of hikes. From how much I'm talking about it, you can probably guess, as much as we like the stack height from the Patrol Winter, we love the stack height on the Boulder Grip, and that's going to take the W for this specific category.
All right, so let's talk about the construction and the durability of both of these boots. Both of them have their uppers glued to their outsoles, so that's obviously not the most durable way to build a boot, but we haven't had any issues with either of them so far, and we've been wearing them very regularly for the last 3 to 4 months. Only time will be able to tell how long that actually lasts us. Now, when it comes to FeelGrounds, if you go on their website, a lot of their shoes are being updated and they're getting side stitching along their outsoles, which is going to help with their durability a little bit, but the FeelGrounds Patrol Winter so far hasn't been updated with that, so this version does not have that, which is a bit of a bummer because that would have given it just a little bit of boost there. There is a big difference in the materials that the two are made out of. The Boulder Boot grip is made out of a full grain leather, while the Patrol Winter is a faux leather. And if you treat the Boulder Boot grip right and you condition that leather regularly, then it's going to last much longer than the faux leather is going to. Faux leather is known to break down and start cracking pretty quickly, but with a full grain leather, if you treat it properly, it should last and last and last for you. So I would expect the grip to win here. So one last thing to consider when it comes to the construction of these two boots, the Boulder Boot grip has a waterproof lining, and that does a really good job. The waterproofing on it seems to be really solid. It hasn't failed on us at all, and it breathes pretty well. Now that makes it so that you can just pair it with a warm pair of wool socks or whatever, and it does a really good job keeping your feet warm in the winter. Now, the Patrol Winter has a faux fur lining, and that paired with its merino wool insole makes this thing a really, really warm, almost too warm boot. When I wear it inside, my feet definitely get hot and start getting clammy in it. So that's one thing to think about. There's going to be a little bit less usage window for this thing because it's really reserved for the coldest months of the year, whereas with the Boulder Boot grip, you can use it in the shoulder seasons, you just have to wear a lighter sock with it. Before sending it back over to Chris, we're going to take a moment here just to mention some of the affiliates that we have going on with this channel right now.
Are you looking to take your barefoot shoe experience to another level? Then you're going to need a solid pair of toe socks that lets you take advantage of all that toe box. We love Creeper's Toe Socks, a sock that beat out 6 other toe sock brands in a comparison video we did that you can see through the card up in the corner. Whether it's cold or hot, whether you're hiking, running, or lounging, Creeper's Toe Socks will ensure that your feet stay comfy, dry, and healthy. If you're interested in checking out Creepers, head down to the link in the description and use our discount code to save yourself 15% off at checkout. Need a barefoot shoe to replace your Vans or Chuck Taylors? Splay Shoes has the widest toe box and the most minimal soles we've found in a casual canvas shoe. With their new leather variations added to the mix, you can dress them up really nicely too. I actually love Splays as a go-to lifting shoe, and they are one of the most wallet-friendly barefoot brands available on the market. If you're interested in checking out Splay Shoes, head down to the link in the description where we also have a discount code that will save you 10%. Also, click the card you can see now up in the corner to navigate over to a playlist for all of our Splay shoe reviews. The next category of comparison I'm going to talk about is comfort. Now, I have these two boots that I've been showing you on camera here. Their counterparts are currently on my feet so that I can give you more live, real-time feedback on which one I find more comfortable and why. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat here, I find the Patrol Winter to be the more comfortable boot, and some of the reasons why are, I think the materials make it more comfortable. So the faux vegan leather that we have is not rigid at all. It's very soft and pliable and flexible. Now, that could be bad in some other ways, but when it comes to comfort, that's great. The grip is definitely more rigid with its full grain leather that it's made of, which is fantastic in its own way, and it'll probably break in even more than it already has. I've got a lot of miles on these things, but they're still breaking in. That leather is still softening up. So softer on the outer material, the inner material obviously way softer. We've got that thermal lining. It's very soft and cushy inside of this boot. The last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to comfort, specifically for me, is the shape of the boot. I actually find that the shape of this boot fits my foot really, really nicely, better than the grip. Though the shape of the grip is not bad and the toe box isn't bad. I'm actually going to cover the toe boxes in a little bit, but these things are very comfortable when it comes to how my feet actually fit inside of them. So for all those reasons, I got to give the comfort category to the Patrol Winter.
So when it comes to the traction of the two boots, the Boulder Boot Grip has a slightly more aggressive tread pattern to it. These divots here actually go pretty deep, so I think it's been optimized for wet and slippery conditions really well, and I've enjoyed using it throughout the winter. The Patrol Winter has a slightly grippier rubber to it, and so it's also been optimized for winter conditions. It is the Patrol Winter, and it's done a really good job, but I am going to give the edge to the Boulder Boot Grip. Now, I've used both of them to shovel snow this winter, and I've always felt secure in whichever one that I was using, but out on the trails, I definitely feel just a little bit more secure in the Boulder Boot Grip. Now, that being said, the Patrol Winter wasn't really made to be a hiking boot, so it does a stand-up job on the trails for what it was built for, which is more of a casual thing. I think that it is a little bit more versatile than what they intended for it. We've really liked using it on the trails as well.
As I alluded to earlier, I'm going to be talking about toe box width comparison as well as volume. Now, when it comes to the volume, I'm going to keep things pretty simple. They're pretty similar. Now, I have medium arches. There's people with higher arches and lower arches. I'm somewhere in the middle. And the nice thing about shoes with laces is you can kind of manipulate the volume of these guys pretty well. You can tie them down way tight and really wrench that volume down if you need to. You can loosen them up quite a bit as well and make them really breathe. So when it comes to the toe boxes, they're very similar. Now, Lems has a scale where they have a wide, a wider, and a widest. The grip is in the middle category of wide. FeelGrounds, from what we can tell, uses a pretty uniform toe box across all of their shoes, which we like because you learn to expect the same thing from each shoe going into it. And I found that the toe box of the Patrol is just a little bit wider than the grip. I can feel it now on the ones that I'm wearing as I flex my toes and spread them out. I've definitely got a bit more room in the Patrols. I'd say maybe a millimeter, maybe two. It's small, but it is a little bit noticeable. Now, my toes are not being squished by the grip, so I don't want anybody to think that the grip has a narrow toe box. Not for my feet, at least, but the Patrol Winter is wider. I don't know if you know this. Your foot's not the same shape as mine. My foot's not actually the same shape as my brother, Eric's foot. My parents have very different shaped feet than me. So which one's going to fit your foot? It just kind of depends. I personally like the fit of the Patrol better when it comes to toe box. I like the grip better when it comes to the way that it contours to my foot. And that is all I have to say about that.
All right, when it comes to the sizing of the two boots, we found that the Boulder Boot Grip is true to size, if not just barely on the snugger side of that. So I am a men's size 9, that's what I got this in, and I think that it fits me really, really well. I think if you are typically pushing the boundaries of your size, then go up a half and you'll be perfectly fine with that. When it comes to the Patrol Winter, it's a little bit tougher. They're in Germany, it's European sizes. I ended up going with a size 42, and that gave my toes a little bit more room than what I'm typically used to, but I think that worked out. So pay attention to their conversion charts. The size 42 on their site was a US men's size 9, and like I said, it came back just a little bit bigger than I think what I'm used to, but that's been working just fine for me. I'm not unhappy with it at all. It's definitely not too big. All right, so if I have to pick a winner between these two boots, I am gonna choose the Boulder Boot Grip, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that's watched its toe-to-toe videos. This one hasn't been dethroned for me yet, but we're looking for contenders all the time. Now, that's not to say that I don't like the Patrol Winter, because I really do, but this comparison for me comes down to one really big thing, and that is that this boot is so stinking warm. It's a little bit too hot. Like when I've worn this inside, my feet start to sweat just a little bit. So because of that, I am gonna get more use out of the Boulder Boot Grip. It's gonna carry over into the shoulder seasons for me, whereas with the Patrol Winter, that's really just gonna be for the coldest months of the year. Now that might fit your situation perfectly, so don't write it off just because I say that this one is my winner. Make sure you consider where you're living and what your year is gonna look like, and maybe the Patrol Winter really will fit in there, because they do perform pretty closely. They're so close in weight, their grips perform really well during the winter. I might just give the slight edge to the Boulder Boot grip there, and for me too, I really love how Boulder Boots look, and that's totally a subjective thing. I know there's people out there that hate the lips that it has right there, but I think that it is a good look. Now, I know there's people out there saying, well, just get the Patrol Light then, and that'll be a better comparison, but unfortunately the Patrol Light isn't waterproof, and the Patrol Winter is. So those are the ones that we wanted to compare because the Boulder Boot grip is waterproof, so is the Patrol Winter. If they came out with a Patrol Light that was waterproof, then we'd be talking. There would definitely be a little bit more to that comparison for us because you could use the Patrol Light longer than the Winter. I'm gonna send it over to Chris now to give you his winner and give us the outro for the video.
Here at the end, I wanted to give you my winner before we close out the video. No surprise, it is the Lems Boulder Grip. Some of the reasons why I think this does everything the Patrol Winter does and then some. So, a perfect example of what I mean, this works as a casual boot just fine, and it doesn't have the drawback of the winter lining that makes it seasonal dependent. So whereas with the Patrol, I'd probably only wear it in the coldest situations, I can put on a pair of really warm socks and rock this in the cold situations just fine. It's gonna work in our definition of formal activities. So church and weddings are the main ones that we experience a lot here in Utah specifically, but it also goes so hard out in the wilderness. We can use this for super long, super technical, super rough hikes, and it's gonna do fantastic. So for all those reasons, I am going with the Lems Boulder Grip. Folks, if you like this video, we would appreciate if you would like and subscribe. We have a bunch of affiliate links down in the description, including links for Lems and FeelGrounds. And if we have a discount code for any of the companies listed down there, it will be listed with the affiliate link. We would love it if you would go and follow along with us on Patreon. We actually have some free content on there, but if you want access to the more exclusive behind the scenes up close content, then it's only $1 a month to join. One of the free videos that I will have posted before this video goes live is an initial impressions review of the Blanket York just about a half an hour after I unboxed it, got a chance to wear it around the studio for a little bit. That initial impressions review is going to be the only free initial impressions review that we post to Patreon. We're going to have future initial impressions reviews put on Patreon as well, but you will have to be a paid subscriber for that. Again, it's just $1 a month for all that really cool behind the scenes, up close and personal exclusive content. We would appreciate if you'd follow us on Instagram, where we post all of our unboxing videos, and also on Strava, which is a really cool platform where you can track all of your activity, all your hikes, all your runs, all your weightlifting, any kind of active endeavor that you do can be tracked and posted on Strava. People that follow you can see that, can see the gear that you're using. We share our gear on there all the time, all the stuff that we're currently working with. It's just a really fun platform if you love getting outdoors and doing stuff. Make sure to go follow us there on Strava, and we will make sure to follow you back. We're building a really fun community on Strava. As always, we appreciate your view, and we will catch you in the mountains.